The Cleveland Browns have never been strangers to chaos, but this time the storm is far louder than anything the franchise has faced in years. It's not about injuries or missed playoffs. It's about betrayal, pride, and a locker room that no longer believes in its own leader. When star wide receiver Jerry Jeudy stepped in front of the cameras and unleashed his frustration, he didn't just send a message, he detonated one. He called out Kevin Stefanski, the man in charge, and threw his full support behind Shadur Sanders, the rookie quarterback who many believe could have saved the team's season if given a real chance. It wasn't just a player speaking his mind. It was the sound of a team rebelling against its coach. From the moment Jeudy spoke, the atmosphere in Cleveland shifted. No longer was this just another case of a young quarterback learning behind veterans. It became a civil war between loyalty to leadership and loyalty to talent. Jeudy praised Shedeur for everything he brought to the table, his discipline, his football IQ, his leadership off the field, and the energy he brought into every practice. He talked about how Sanders showed up before sunrise, left long after sunset, and earned the respect of every player around him. But then he asked the question every Browns fan has been asking for weeks: why isn't he playing? That question cut through the franchise like a knife. The implication was clear. This isn't about readiness anymore. It's about politics, and as if Jeudy's words weren't explosive enough, defensive captain Myles Garrett fanned the flames with a statement of his own. Garrett didn't need to pick sides outright. His praise for Sanders said everything. He described him as a natural-born leader, a student of the game who demanded excellence from everyone around him. When your defensive cornerstone, your heartbeat, speaks that highly of a rookie quarterback, it's no longer speculation. It's confirmation that the locker room is divided. What began as murmurs among players has now become open defiance. Garrett's words echoed through the walls of the facility, shaking the confidence of a coaching staff that suddenly looks isolated and out of touch. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski stands firm, or at least tries to look like he is. Every time the topic comes up, his tone gets colder, his answers shorter. He insists that Sanders isn't ready, that the team has a plan, that patience is key. But the patience he speaks of feels less like development and more like denial. Gabriel, the man he chose instead, has been anything but inspiring. Missed throws, stalled drives, and zero rhythm on offense have become the norm. Fans in the stands aren't chanting for touchdowns anymore. They're chanting for change. The cameras capture Stefanski pacing the sidelines, arms folded, eyes locked on the field as if trying to convince himself that he's still in control. But the truth is written all over the team's faces. He's lost them. Inside the locker room, the tension is thick enough to feel. Players whisper, roll their eyes in team meetings, and the quiet hum of frustration has turned into open doubt. They know what's wrong, but they also know the head coach won't fix it. To them, it's simple. The best player isn't playing. And every week that passes makes it harder to justify. Shadur Sanders isn't just another rookie. He's the player everyone believes can be the face of the franchise. The one who brings electricity to the field and composure to the huddle. But instead of seeing him take the reins, they watch him run scout team reps while the offense collapses in real time. The disconnection between the locker room and the coaching staff has never been this visible, and the fallout is inevitable. Cleveland's fans, loyal but exhausted, have seen this movie before. A coach clinging to control. A young star benched under the guise of development. A season slipping away while leadership insists everything's fine. But this time the stakes feel higher. Sanders isn't just a hopeful prospect. He's a symbol of what could have been. Every highlight reel from practice, every clip that leaks online, every player defending him only adds to the pressure. And when fans see veterans like Jeudy and Garrett standing beside him, it validates what they've felt all along. The wrong man is under center, and the wrong man is calling the shots. For Sanders, the chaos around him speaks volumes, but he's remained silent. No outbursts, no cryptic posts, no interviews, just work. It's almost poetic. The calmest person in the storm is the one being accused of causing it. His silence has only amplified the noise. Reporters catch glimpses of him talking with teammates, studying film, throwing passes long after practice ends. It's not hard to see why his teammates are rallying behind him. They see focus, humility, and hunger, qualities that can't be faked. Sanders isn't demanding the spotlight, but it's finding him anyway. The more chaos unfolds around Stefanski's decisions, the more Sanders' image as the quiet leader grows. Meanwhile, Gabriel, the current starter, has become an unintended victim of the storm. Every incomplete pass draws louder boos. Every stalled drive feels like proof that Stefanski made the wrong call. Gabriel, while trying his best, simply isn't commanding the offense. His lack of chemistry with the receivers, his panicked pocket presence, and his poor decision-making have become too obvious to ignore. It's not just bad luck, it's bad leadership. The fans aren't angry at Gabriel. They're angry at the man who keeps sending him out there. Because at some point, when the entire locker room, fan base, and even your own captains are begging for change, refusal starts to look like arrogance. Kevin Stefanski has built his reputation on control, on sticking to the plan, keeping emotions in check, and never letting chaos dictate his choices. But now that control has turned into stubbornness, and it's strangling the very team he's supposed to lead. Every press conference feels colder, every explanation emptier. He says the focus is on development, but it's clear the only thing developing in Cleveland is discontent. The longer he holds out, the more it looks like he's prioritizing pride over progress. Fans are calling for his resignation, players are losing faith, and the Browns' season is circling the drain, all because one coach refuses to admit he might be wrong. This entire saga has become a case study in what happens when ego overtakes leadership. Stefanski's refusal to adapt has not only damaged his own credibility, but also fractured the unity of a team that was built to win now. Every snap Dillon Gabriel takes while Shadur Sanders stands on the sideline is a reminder of wasted potential, and every post-game interview where Stefanski downplays the issue only deepens the frustration. You can feel the city turning on him, one loss at a time. The chants for Sanders are getting louder, and soon they won't just be coming from the fans, they'll be echoing from inside the locker room. So here's where it stands. The Browns are at a crossroads. Either they make the tough decision and put faith in the quarterback the team already believes in, or they let this season, and possibly their locker room, fall apart completely. Shadur Sanders represents hope, not just for the franchise, but for a culture that desperately needs a spark. And if Cleveland doesn't recognize that soon, someone else will. Now, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Kevin Stefanski's refusal to start Shadur Sanders is a sign of leadership or pure ego? Should the Browns finally make the switch and let Sanders lead this team before it's too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button if you've been following this wild drama, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates as the story continues to unfold. Because one thing's for sure, this saga in Cleveland is far from over.